So the first panel that we are going to have right now is on AI, tech and data and its application in health insurance. So on the panel we have, and I'd like to invite the first panelist, Mr. Alan Peddle, who's the Senior Vice President, Vitality Health International. He's a distinguished health insurance executive and actuary with a global career spanning South Africa, China, and Southeast Asia. Currently based in Singapore as Senior Vice President for Health Insurance at Vitality, he leads strategic joint venture initiatives. Alan, welcome on the panel. Thank you. Our next panelist is Mr. Kallol Basu, who's the Chief Technology Officer at National Insurance Company. Mr. Basu is, has a overall 25 years of experience in the IT domain in India and overseas market. At National Insurance, he is leading a holistic technology transformation through optimal exploitation of niche and digital technologies. Mr. Basu, welcome on the panel. Our next panelist is Anuradha Sriram, who's the Chief Actuarial Officer at Aditya Birla Health Insurance. She has over 30 years of work experience ranging across life insurance, employee and retirement benefits, consulting and health insurance. She's a visionary leader who has a strong track record of adding value to businesses. As a chief actuary, she has helped establish a health-first proposition that transformed the Indian insurance sector. And she is earlier in her earlier assignment, she has led employee benefit consulting segment for Willis Towers Watson in India. Anuradha, welcome on the panel. Our next speaker on this panel is Mr. Abhijit Pal, who's the Deputy Managing Director and Chief Analytics Officer at Munich Re. He's responsible for the life and health business for South Asia markets. He's focusing on solving business problems by leveraging data and analytics and enabling data-driven decisions. He is also a qualified actuary with over 19 years of experience in the areas of actuarial pricing, research, predictive analysis, client management, amongst others. Welcome on the panel, Kallol. So this panel will be moderated by Mr. Mrinal Sinha, who's the CEO and co-founder of Vitraya Technologies. So Vitraya Technologies is an AI company whose products have revolutionized claims decision-making for IPD and OPD claims in India. The company has founded processes, was founded and it processes about $2 billion worth of claims and is a market leader for claim settlement in India. He's a faculty member for conscious entrepreneurship. As a facility member and coach, he also advises CEOs on leading complete lives by creating purposefulness within their organizations and enabling a culture of performance and well-being. Mrinal, on to you. Have a good panel. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's the post-lunch session and we are all delighted to be here, aren't we? Well, we have a very distinguished panel here. The panel members here are not just experts, but many of them have implemented data systems and technology systems within their companies. And what you're going to hear is the perspective of practitioners and not just theory. So very delighted to moderate this panel. My first question is to Abhijit. AI in insurance, is it real or is it just old tech being packaged as AI?
Very interesting question. Thank you and good afternoon, everybody. It's very interesting why I say that, because last year we did a survey and we wanted to understand how insurance companies in India, particularly life insurance companies, look at AI. So we said, okay, how do you define AI? And we asked this question that, it was a multiple choice question. And 30% of the Indian insurance company answered that according to them, AI is IT. Another 10% or so, they said AI is performance management or dashboards. So AI, if you ask me, in general has been very liberally used. Everybody says we are doing AI, even if they're just doing some dashboards. But if you talk about the way the AI, the way we perceive AI, there has been some use cases. I have not seen a lot of use cases at scale in India, but there have been a lot of use cases, especially in the life insurance, for underwriting, for claims management, that has been done elsewhere. So, but for India, I think I'm yet to see at scale AI being used.
Thank you. Anything that any of the other panelists may want to add? I think the short, sweet answer, we may call it AI, but it's not, it doesn't really exist, at least as far as India is concerned.
Sorry, Alan, you can go. No,
okay. Yes, Kalol.
So I will not say that we are not doing anything on AI, and you are the best person to justify that. You are running an AI company on health insurance purely in India and doing claim processing using AI engines. So claim processing with the use of AI engines is very real. And there are multiple other use cases where many companies, including us, have ventured to apply AI in insurance. And this includes fraud analytics, other than claim processing, I'm saying. This includes how we can improve the total experience, that is customer experience as well as employee experience, with the use of AI or Gen AI chatbots. So that is no longer in pilot stage, that is kind of real. So these are the few items I think are very real in India perspective also, where AI is used extensively. That much I can add.
Got it. So the era is starting. It may still be early.
Yeah, look, I mean, this is a bit of a how long is a piece of string question. So what is AI and what makes AI different from all those things that came before, which I think is a great way to phrase the question. The survey that you mentioned fascinates me because I think AI is a very abused term, and actually I dislike it a little bit. I think for many, you know, when we speak about AI, perhaps outside of our business, people tend to latch on to kind of the, you know, the LLM stuff, the very visible, kind of I talk to the machine and the machine talks back to me in a human-like way. And if we were only talking about that, then I have seen some applications, which are quite interesting, very much in the places that you use the language skills. So interpretation of medical records, for example, which have applications in underwriting, or conversion of written notes into something that's meaningful, or even in a doctor's room, the idea of those ambient tools that can listen into a doctor's conversation and record into clinical notes. And those kinds of applications, I think, are going to be super useful in processing of claims and all kinds of insurance applications in future. We also, in our company, are very focused on behavior change, so areas like coaching and communication and signaling, where the language tools of AI are actually, we're starting to use them now at scale in ways that I think are actually quite powerful. But in many ways, the hardcore stuff, the claims processing, the underwriting, the efficiency drivers, those kinds of areas have been around a little bit longer than the new AI, and they're constantly improving. And I think we get enormous value out of that. And there's huge parts of your business that you can automate. Maybe, sorry, I want to say one more other application of AI. So the application of AI to improve the efficiency of your coders is like an internal use of AI, which I think, not only insurance companies, many businesses really need to be thinking about hard, because I actually think that's where we're starting to see a lot of operational value from the applications of AI. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, Alan. The next question is to Anuradha. From AI to data, data is the bedrock of insurance. Always has been. And now we see a lot of talk about the usage of big data, the usage of real-time data. To what extent does it really impact actuarial models? To what extent does it impact underwriting? Is there real impact, or um, is all of that still faddish and more chatter, and it needs to um, go a little bit more, grow a little bit more until it can become mainstream?
That's a very interesting question, and good afternoon, everybody. Post-lunch, we'll try our best to keep your interests focused. I just wanted to probably round up the earlier response for the previous question first, and then talk about data, if that's
Absolutely.
okay. From an AI perspective, I personally feel there are three applications, at least in the health insurance context, that I can see. One is process efficiency improvements and speed of execution. And you could talk about call center automation, then similar such claims automation, underwriting automation, and whatever, right? I think these all fall under the category of process efficiency and business optimization. Second is from a risk management perspective. Today in ABHI, we have some of the best business management metrics automated, and through AI, we are able to continuously learn and understand our risks and manage it better. So it really works very well for us in terms of learning continuously from these key matrices that we can use to understand about the business trends and how we can manage it better. Third is really, I think it's really about predicting and preventing, and how do we really run processes and data in such a way that we're able to move ahead of the market and be really the torch bearers in terms of predicting and preventing in every sphere of what we do. And from a health insurance company perspective, it's not only about the business risks, it's also about the health risks. How do we really understand our customers' health risks in a more predictive way and operate in such a way that we are able to prevent, intervene, coach, manage, and help manage our overall risks better? So I think those are the three categories in which I'll put the AI applications really. And there are many use cases that do exist in India. From a data perspective for actuarial modeling, look, I think data is like money. And it is so important. The output is as good as the input. And I think it's important to invest in data, especially with the opportunity to predict and prevent. It's important to invest in data. And I would sincerely urge all insurance companies to really look at their data strategy, invest in data lakes, getting the customer identifiers in place, and really, for instance, today in ABHI, we have almost 80 to 85 health-related information of our customers. That helps us risk stratify our customers well, and basis which we are able to predict and prevent very proactively. So I think data is very critical. Investing in data is very important. Investing in skill sets, capabilities, training, etc. is also very critical. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Kalol, let's talk a little bit about insurer technology stacks. Right? You're the CTO of one of the largest insurers, national. What are the technology stacks for insurers? Do you see change? As we look at technology stacks over the last 20 years, depending on which player you're looking at, we've grown, from mainframe-oriented applications to system integrator developed products to, little startups, developing all sorts of tools, including AI. To what degree are insurer stacks ready for it? To what degree insurer stacks consider some of the newer emerging technologies to be something which is mission critical for them, and to what degree do they balance, as of today, the newness of these technologies with the stability that some of the old stuff provides?
Loaded question. Thanks for that. So it took almost 2 minutes for that question, so I'll take some time to answer as well. So if I look at the IT systems that traditional insurers like us have, so I purely look at three strata or three subcategories of that system. One is the system of engagement, through which we engage with our partners, our employees, our customers. The system of record, that really is a combination of our core insurance and a set of enterprise applications. And then there is the system of intelligence, which traditionally has been, I would say, business analytics. Like not business analytics, it is purely an MIS reporting kind of analytics, not beyond that. So that is what the legacy insurers in India had or still having for the last 2 decades or so. And of course, then there is the underlying infrastructure, network, and security. That's how the entire IT system looks like. Now, we are witnessing significant changes in health insurance, right? If I talk only about health insurance, but we as general insurer are concerned about other part, the non-health part as well, but let me focus on health. Especially from post-COVID, people's awareness on health insurance has significantly increased. And they know it is something which is not mandated by the government in India, unlike some of the European countries and some US states. But for rainy days, we need to have those covers. So there has been a significant increase in health insurance volumes in India, post-COVID mainly. To support that, the technology also had to gear up. Now, how do we change the technology to meet that additional scalability, the additional ask for agility, and the demand for enhanced customer experience, right? Most of the insurers are taking a bimodal approach, what is also known as the two-speed approach. And that means the core insurance, the enterprise applications and all, I can refresh or upgrade or make moderate changes, while I can add additional digital capabilities on top of that, which is not a typical SI play, mind that. And these are mostly important in the system of engagement and system of intelligence part. So many insurers are adopting advanced analytics now, because they know the vast amount of data that we have. This can be used way better if we have an advanced analytics solution that gives us the ability to do business analytics, predictive analytics, fraud analytics, all of that. And AI is very real in this particular area. So the vast amount of data that we have, and the data quality and data bias, these are all different topics all coming to my mind all together. But this is one differential digital capability that must be added, and most of the insurers have taken some advanced analytics project at this stage. And also I mentioned few other areas which are not typical SI play, like say AI applications on chatbot, AI chatbots, on claim processing. So these are kind of the differential or the high speed element of that bimodal or two-speed velocity IT that is being added incrementally.
That's very insightful. Thank you. So we want not just the cake, we need the icing too. That's perfect. Thank you very much. Next question is to Alan. You know, the rest of us, I think we are, you know, practitioners of, practitioners in the Indian industry. And there's something peculiar about health insurance in India, right? For such a large country, there's no OPD. It's an IPD-centric country. Insurance penetration is low. We can, disagree on the numbers. There are various cuts, whether it's 10% or 30%, but, it's well agreed that it's low. And yet you have $200 billion of healthcare spend, which isn't small. Can insurance play a role in shaping the future of healthcare? And what should that be? And what's been the global experience?
Okay, that's a complicated question. So let me try and break it down one by one. I think the first point is that every country I've ever worked in has unique characteristics in the health insurance environment. I've worked across life insurance and health insurance. Life insurance travels better. And so, the first point to make is, yes, there are uniquenesses in the Indian health insurance system, but that you would expect that, because that's going to be true. Obviously, what is interesting about India is scale, opportunity, this incredible, population pyramid with different levels of needs. When you're operating at this kind of scale, my suspicion, and I'm surrounded by many more experts than me, but my suspicion would be that you shouldn't talk about the Indian health insurance market. You really need to say the health insurance market that's appropriate for segment X and segment Y, and those segments in many cases will be bigger than entire other countries. And so, certainly my experience of being exposed to this market is that's a useful way to think about it. The only analogy I can draw is that I lived and worked for 6 years in China, where you've got similar issues of scale and how you think about different markets and evolutions of things. So that's a kind of maybe a broad point. Do I think that health insurance can make a fundamental difference at a societal level? I mean, the answer is unequivocally yes. If you think about the core principles of any form of insurance, and I think this is especially true in health insurance, is that health care is, at worst, the lack of health care or the lack of funding for health care can be a catastrophic financial event. And so protecting people against catastrophic healthcare events is really important. Now, well, that could be catastrophic because of the loss or the disability of a loved one, but it could also be a financial issue. You're exposed to a $100,000 million cancer claim, and a family has to gather wealth to fund that healthcare event is nonsensical. You can really change the economic trajectory of a family. And so it becomes an enabling mechanism for so many other things. And also, the existence of funding encourages the growth of facilities, access, people investing in hospitals, in preventative care, and all of those things can fundamentally help improve the livelihood of everyone in society. Now, the company I represent, Vitality, goes further and says actually the job of the insurer is also to work fundamentally in the space of prevention, because we have the data and the capabilities to provide incentives to help people get healthier, thus forestalling all of the cost issues or delaying them or enabling people to live longer, healthier lives. And we see that as a core purpose issue. I'm going to cheat a little bit and hop back to your previous question on data. One of the things about health insurance is that when you think about it end to end, you think about the multitude of claims that a person could have in a year. Now I'm talking about IP and OP, and think about wanting to know everything about a doctor's visit, an ordinary GP visit where there's medicine, there's potentially a prescription, there's multiple doctor's visits over time. You want to know all of that information because it's a powerful input to the predict and predict model that you spoke about earlier. So if you want to forestall coronary episodes, hospital admissions related to heart attacks, you want to know about a member's medical history. You might also want to know about their operational history. How often did they call your call center? You might want to know about their behavior. How much are they exercising? What are they eating? Now that becomes this feast of data. And thinking about how you gather that and put that to use is one of, I think, the exciting applications of what might have been called data science and now is more and more called AI. But those are, fundamentally important things. And if you're going to be really good at this stuff, your strategy for gathering that data and treating it like capital, it's as important as capital, if not more, and treat it and nurture it in the same way as you think about your capital strategy. That should be the same as your data strategy. And think about that as a mechanism to be, both more effective competitively, but also how to fulfill this mission of making people healthier. Long answer, sorry.
Very, very insightful. Thank you very much.
If I may add, because this is something that I'm personally very passionate about, and as a company that's implemented this health-first approach in the country, so we started 8 years back, and as a founding member, I've seen the journey of us traversing from a pure Mediclaim environment where it was just sell, forget, pay claims to an environment that we have today where we have more than 50% of our retail customers who know about their health, more than 10 to 12% of our customers earn 100% of their premium back or certain percent of their premium back basis incentivized wellness benefits that we offer to them. And there are so many of our customers with pre-existing conditions where we manage their chronic condition, be it asthma, diabetes, or hypertension, cholesterol, etc., etc. I think we've come a long way. And we've seen the power of data, the power of helping our customers manage their health. And we have so many life stories of our customers coming and sharing with us. We have a lot of these testimonials. I would highly encourage all of you to go and check it on our website. We feel very proud about those testimonials where customers come and tell us how their lifestyles have changed, their health has improved, their chronic condition is better managed. And it's not just the health, it's also about the lifestyle and the family impact it has. It's really a movement, I would say, because it's a wellness movement which is really changing the country one customer at a time. And I would just like to finish by sharing this one fond story. There was this lady, we thought this is more an urban phenomena, but we found that this is also something that's appealing to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 customers as well. We've had a farmer from a tier 3 city share about his experience of walking 10,000 steps a day and how he was able to earn the entire premium back. And this fond story that I have to share with all of you is about a lady. She's from Kanpur, and she shared the story of her with us. She said, every day I used to walk 7,000 steps. And in the evening when my husband comes back, we used to go out for a walk for 40 minutes, and I used to complete the 10,000 steps. And she said, it's been a long time I spent time with him like this, quality time like this. Thank you, ABHI. It's not just about the benefit that I got, but it's also about the time that I spend with my husband, and you made me feel very happy. So it was really very heartwarming, and we felt so proud that we were able to do something meaningful for the customer. Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing the story. I think we often forget when speaking about AI and tech that we're really working with people. And thank you very much for bringing that center stage. I want to talk a little bit about, I want you all to speak a little bit about standardization now. There's different sorts of efforts. There's, a group of government-owned companies, who collectively negotiate pricing in the health insurance space. There are similar platforms in motor insurance. We hear the National Health Authority trying to standardize digital public assets. What is, this is a question to you first, Abhijit. To what degree do you see that as being important enablers for insurance to scale?
It's absolutely very important because if you see from an insurance point of view today, the insurer makes a promise to deliver. Delivery is done by the care provider, and they are both governed by completely different entities or regulators. So they are not under the same roof. So problem occurs that the experience that the customer has there, actually the promise is made by the insurance company. And it comes back to the insurance company that you promised, you did not deliver. But the insurance company has very little control over the delivery today. So I think we always needed one umbrella where the care providers and the insurers come together to do, basically to create a framework where the end customer benefits. So that the whatever promise that the insurance companies are making when taking the premium or issuing the policy, the same experience is actually delivered by the care providers or the providers today. So I think NHA is going to bring all of them together. And that is where they play a central role into creating the ecosystem where all of this can operate seamlessly so that as a customer, I benefit from that ecosystem. And I think there is some effort on that already. The National Claim Exchange, because today, like you said, I think Alan made a valid point, right? So when the claim comes, you also want to know the history. Today, we do not have history. I do not have a primary care physician. Every time I go to a doctor, I get a prescription, I forget about it, and there is, that data is lost. So when it comes to insurance, whatever the customer declares is what you know about, or if you do any medical test, is what you know about the customer. And again, if there is no touch point, you don't know anything about the customer unless the claim comes. Like in life insurance, you have front-end underwriting. So you underwrite the customer, so you ask all sort of questions, you do medical test, and then you guarantee the cover for next 30, 40 years. In health, you let them come in, and then you do underwriting at the claim stage. And that is where a lot of problem comes. Because customer has a different understanding of the benefit coverage. And when they go and at the time of claims, they said, no, you're not covered. Or no, the definition is not meeting. And that's why if you look at most of the grievances at the IRDA is actually on the health. That is because there is a lack of understanding. Now, the problem is that at the time of issuing the coverage, the insurer has very limited information. So they guardrail the cover that they're providing, otherwise the pricing won't work. So you set a price, you set an underwriting guideline, and then you give the cover. For the customer, they don't understand that. But when we have an ecosystem where there is with consent, there's a lot of information is flowing through to the insurer can actually do a good risk assessment. And then whatever price is charged to the customer, the insurer can pay the claim with comfort because the insurer knows the risk when they're taking on the risk. So having an ecosystem where the data flows through different stakeholders with consent is going to completely change. And if we are looking at insurance for all, if we are looking at covering the missing middle, the technology will be the edifice on which the entire thing has to be built. And it has to be done by a central authority. Otherwise, what we have seen is that insurance companies or councils, the efforts that are making, that not holistic. That is only limited to the sphere of their influence. But when the government comes in, it's that they bring in all the stakeholders together. And health is an ecosystem where not just the insurer can on their own do it. It has to be the entire ecosystem that has to come together. So that's where I feel that the role of NHA or any other government authority has to be the paramount to make sure that the insurance for all is achieved by 2047.
Great, thanks very much. We're coming to the end of our specified time, but I think, parting thoughts from you all, it's a time of great change. There's, AI, there is, the the, the two-tier approach that Kalol spoke about that insurers must follow. There's standardization happening at the government level, and then you've got a market that's that's changing, or rather, let's say that's evolving very quickly. From a technology and AI standpoint, and also to be able to be compassionate as an insurer or as a player in this ecosystem. What are the top 3 things that you would advise to an insurance CEO? And any of you can take any of this, to an insurance CEO, to a hospital CEO, and to an Insurtech.
Okay. I'll limit my answer to life insurance because that's where I work. So to an insurance CEO, my only recommendation would be to have a holistic data strategy. I think there are 3 actuaries on the panel and 3 of us spoke about data. What I have seen so far based on my interaction is that there is no holistic approach to creating a data strategy. Again, I refer back to the survey we did. Very few companies have chief data officers. Very few companies have, again, life insurance companies, where they check the data quality dimension in the 6th dimension, like completeness, consistency. Very, very few companies in India today. So while there are aspirations of having big data, I think the fundamentals are still not in place. Very few companies can stand and say that, we have a golden record of the customer. I know whether he has got a term life insurance, he has got a credit life insurance, he's got an employer-employee insurance. Because these 3 systems do not talk to each other. So what I'm trying to say is that if I can make a recommendation to a CEO, I'll say that, have a comprehensive data strategy, a data person who can report directly at the management level, not as a part of operations, and then drive that from there. So once you have a very strong foundation, then you can build towers. So that would be my suggestion. To Insurtech, at least the Insurtechs that I have dealt with, my only suggestion is that, go a little deep. Most of the problem statement that they come to, there are problem statements. But the understanding is at a very, very high level. Sometimes I see that there is a lack of appreciation of complexity. So for example, they say that we want to simplify underwriting. I ask them, have you done case underwriting? Because when I'm an actuary, I have spent most of my time in actuarial work. When I was developing a predictive model for underwriting or risk for underwriting, I actually sat with the underwriters and I said, okay, you get the application form. How do you know this is a good customer from risk perspective and this is not so good customer? And then I tried to understand the thought process and I realized it's very complex. When I look at just the data and I say, okay, I predict to say good risk and bad risk, it is actually not that simple unless you get down to that level. And when I ask this question to Insurtech coming to me that will simplify underwriting, very few of them actually have that level of depth. So my only suggestion to Insurtech, again, in the life space if you are coming, is that have an appreciation of the problem statement, have that domain knowledge to see that where are the complications and what are the implications of those complications. That can be long term, because as a life insurer, we provide risk for, if somebody is coming at 18 for 82 years. So the cost of getting wrong is very, very high. So while we do underwrite, and we say the underwriting effect is only 3 to 5 years, but it is a very, very important criteria for us. So do that deep thinking, get to the problem, and then obviously once we understood the problem, we can solve it. So these are the 2 suggestions.
Anuradha.
Yeah, the 3 suggestions would be, I'm going to repeat because I'm sure all of us will repeat this. Data strategy, and it's so critical to have a holistic data strategy, which starts with having the data, then really aligning the data strategy to the organizational strategy, and really, as we fondly say, the actuarial control cycle. So it's really about knowing what data do you need and how do you learn from that data, how do you harness that data, how do you predict, prevent, and then how do you use that to again go back to what data you need. So I think it's really about investing in data, holistic data strategy. Second would be in the context of health insurance. today, if you see in the Indian context, the medical inflation is one of the highest in the Asian market. China is sub 10%. Other Asian countries are probably 6 to 8%. This is one country where medical inflation is 12 to 14%, which is very sad. It's almost 6 to 7% higher than retail inflation. And the other thing is the pre-existing conditions. We are the diabetic capital of the world. We have the emerging trend of cardia and heart-related risks emerging. Pollution is increasing. And post-COVID, we are seeing infectious patterns changing, respiratory diseases increasing, and so on and so forth. So the disease patterns themselves are changing. In that context, wellness is the only way to go. Because how much can you increase premiums and keep managing the business? There is an element of affordability from a customer standpoint. And if you see in the last year alone, the health insurance industry has grown by 20%. 15% of that has come through only premium revisions. Only 3 to 5% has come through new customer acquisitions. If this is going to happen continuously, we will become a very marginalized player and not able to meet the needs of the larger population. So I think prevention is the only way to go. So having a holistic wellness strategy, having data to understand the risk profiles, how do we help customers prevent, manage, recuperate, and engage with them across the entire healthcare spectrum is going to be absolutely critical. So I think that's the second most important thing. I sadly see still many health insurers today have a tactical approach of just offering Mediclaim. I wish more of them come into the fold to look at wellness first and how we can create a thriving, competitive, health-first model in the country. And I would warmly welcome Vitality to explore India as well in that context. The third important one would be hyper-personalized customer strategy. Because today, it's all standardized. When I say standardized, it's same, no claim bonus, non-medical expenses covered, pre, post. It's very standardized. I think some innovation happens saying we'll give you no claim bonus of 20% instead of 10%. We'll give you 50% instead of 20%. So it's just incremental innovation. There's no transformational innovation looking at what are the different customer segments out there, what are their needs. And it's not outside in, it's very inside out. So how can companies understand about the customer segments, have a hyper-personalized understanding of their needs, their wellness needs, and how can they create a tailored product proposition and a service proposition, experience proposition, communication proposition, and engagement proposition to meet the needs of the different customer segments is going to be very important. So I think those three, in my view, for a health insurance company would be very critical. Thank you.
Thank you. Alan?
So I'm aware of time, so I'll keep it short. So my first recommendation I said up front to the CEO, treat your data like capital. And if you transition like that, you can't think about nurturing, growing, et cetera, chief data officers, control cycles, all this. I 100% agree with those philosophies. I do want to pick up on the hyper-personalization point. I think one of the great abilities of these AI tools or the advanced modeling is really the idea of every single one of your customers. You can kind of develop a strategy or a communications process or potentially a benefit design that really suits their specific needs. And that's really, I think, in my mind, about getting to some of the empathetic stuff you spoke about. Third point, I just wanted to talk about the Insurtechs. I work a lot with Insurtech. The most common mistake I see is people having a great idea. They get enthusiastic about the tech, they get enthusiastic about the problem statement, but they don't understand the incentive program. Like how does this thing create value, and how do each of the players who need to purchase and implement this thing, how does that actually work for them? And it's worth spending time. Who's going to pay for it? How they're going to pay for it? What other parties are going to be negatively impacted? And are they going to be in a position to say no, right? And analyze your technology through that lens. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll keep it crisp because time's up. So first, to the insurance CEO, please don't consider IT as a back office. Consider it as your backbone. Second, it goes to like the hospital CEO. And here the point is, please look at the global best practices, how technology and AI is being used globally, and adopt some of those. So there are machine learning solutions available like voice to RX, which is kind of a text to speech solutions that doctors in many hospitals are using. And that significantly increases doctors' time per patient. So please look at these technology innovations that is already being used by many hospitals. And thirdly, to the Insurtech CEO, and it's not personal, that please show me the money, show me the value, and if there is a data breach, my data breach from your system, pay the penalty.
I'm so sorry, but I just definitely wanted to share this to your point on saving money. We've been working with Vitraya, and just 3 statistics that I wanted to share. We've been able to save 8 to 10% on claims due to proper standardized way of adjudication, automated way of adjudication, and pharma library that they have developed, which really helps us to understand what's the MRP versus what the hospital is charging. So which has really helped us save 8 to 10% of the claims. Second is we process claims in under 2 minutes today because of the use of AI and the use of Vitraya as an engine for claims adjudication, which is extremely helpful. And because of which our efficiency to process claims is significantly improved, which helps us in reducing the man effort required to process claims, and the customer experience NPS is well improved. So that is something that I wanted to share.
Another, even before you said this, he already planned a meeting with me in Calcutta.
So I did want to share that there is some money that is there on the table. So
Wonderful.
Please do explore. Thank you.
We are looking forward to that, yeah.
Thank you very much. This has been a phenomenal panel. I see that a lot of people are wide awake, and there is one audience question that we can take. I can hear you.
Hello. Yeah, that is I think your question was, if I heard it correctly, about the skill required to manage the data. Is that that is a challenge that all the CTOs, CDOs, CIOs in India are like, that is ahead of them, because we are talking of let us say a data solution, okay? And in here really it comes as a technology convergence. AI cannot sustain without data. Data is the feed for the AI, and for managing that data I need cloud. So I am not talking about one skill here. Once I think of a AI solution in-house, I actually need data scientists, data engineers. I need like people with knowledge in Python or some programming languages. And also I need people with knowledge in some cloud where this entire solution is going to be hosted. So now every company is making different plans about how to address this. Some are looking at in-house talents and how to nurture them, train them, certify them, continuously decertify them, and keep them in the company. And some are looking at third-party providers, how to get the skill from outside. So it depends on each company's strategy about whether I want to grow this skill in-house or whether I want to outsource this.
Audience and panelists, we're out of time. It's been a fascinating discussion. I think the questions can keep coming. This is your panel of experts. There can be nobody better to answer them. But let's take it on LinkedIn from here on. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure, and have a happy conference.